Your coming to the Lord is as sacred, just as real, just as the priest coming called by God, by Moses and Aaron. You are just as holy, your calling. As Paul said, he set me apart from the womb, but then he revealed it to me. And so when you came to the Lord, he revealed it, that you would actually become what you were put in the womb to become. The day you were born again, you could then fulfill what you were first born for. It all happened. And then what happened when you were born again? In order to be born again, you had to say, Lord, forgive me, cleanse me, cleanse me, cleanse it. Wash, separate that. And now I'm following you. I've decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. The world behind me, the cross before me. You separated yourself. Even if you didn't realize what you were doing, you separated yourself. And God was calling you out of the world. And then his purposes could start in you. But it never's supposed to stop. You never stop. Note the dynamic. Israel is separated from the nations. Levites, the tribe of Levi separated from Israel. Priests separated from Levites. High priests separated from the priest. With every separation, with every calling, the higher the calling, the greater the separation. The greater the separation. Each one had prohibitions. The Jewish people, they couldn't be like the rest of the nations. They couldn't eat pork. Growing up, I had no problem not eating pork. But not eating lobster and shrimp, that's a problem. But nevertheless, they had certain things. You got to do this. But it was part of separating them. And then the Levites, they were even more separated. We can't do this. But it was because they had a higher calling. They could go into the holy place. And so, or the courts of the temple. And then the priests, they had more strict on them. They couldn't do this, couldn't do that. Yet they could enter into the temple itself. And then the high priest, he had more. But he could go into the glory of God. So the thing is, there are things God uses in your life, and there are things that God says, see, the greater the calling, the greater the separation in some way, the greater the requirement. So sometimes you might be saying, Lord, I'd like to have this that this person has. I'd like to have this that this person has. I'd like to have a house. I'd like to have real estate. I'd like to have marriage. I'd like to have more of this. I'd like to have more success. And the thing is, what you don't have may be part of what God is using to separate you for him. See, a lot of the rich don't get into the kingdom. Do you know that? The Bible said there are rich people in the kingdom, but it says a lot more because they get too content with what they have. I trust in that. God says, no, I choose much more of the other people. So you're along in this, God, you have something higher than Bill Gates has or anyone else if they don't have the Lord. You are the priest of God. The Levites and all the tribes of Israel, they had, Gad, Zebulun, all these Simon, they had a piece of the land. But one tribe, God says, you have no inheritance. Levi, Aaron. Why? He says, because you've got something else. Your inheritance is me. Is me. See, he didn't want them bogged down with real estate. He didn't want them bogged down with money. He wanted them in his presence. You can go in, you can serve me, you can see the glory of me. So don't look at what others have or they don't have. You're the priest. Maybe it's, if you're not married, rejoice in your singleness. Whatever you are, if you're not this, rejoice in it. God will use it for high places. Those things that you don't have may be allowing you to be with God and bringing you higher. And don't complain about it. Rejoice in it. The priests of Israel were separated based on their DNA, their blood. For ages, the only way we could know it is that the father, after the temple, the father would tell the son, we are of the house of Aaron. They would tell one after the other for 3,000 years. Or their last name said priest. There's only a few Jewish last names that say house of Aaron, priest. For years they said it. But only recently, through modern DNA technology, they opened the code and they found among the sons of Aaron, there is a gene, a priestly gene that goes back about 3,000 years ago to one man, Aaron. So it confirmed what God says, because there will be a temple again and there will be a priesthood. So they were separated because of their blood, but you are separated because of the Spirit, just as much. If I look back in my life, I can see things that were separating me for God long before I knew God, and included things I didn't like as well, but God used it all. There was a higher purpose I had no idea of. I wasn't trying to serve God. I was trying not to serve God. When I heard about God and when I knew I had to give my life, I said, no, I don't want to give up this. I don't want to give up my rock band. I don't want to give up this or this or this. So Lord, I will make a deal with you. I will accept you when I'm on my deathbed. And I'm not going through the whole story, but that's when I almost got killed. And then twice. Second time, strike two, I was hit by a locomotive train. That was the culmination of everything God was using. That train was the culmination of God separating me, trying to. So I knew after that I had to come to the Lord. That was strike two. Not because I was holy, not because I had any idea of what the calling meant, not because of that, but because I didn't want to go to hell. So after the train almost killed me, I made a new deal with God. I said, can we renegotiate? I said, okay, now, Lord, I'm not going to do that, accept you on the deathbed. I understand that was wrong. That was wrong. New deal, I'll accept you when I'm 20. Just don't kill me until then. Now, I picked 20 because it was a round number, and it gave me about 7 months to go. 7 months to do whatever I wanted. On the night of my 20th birthday, I didn't know how to do it. I went up on a mountain, because I remember from Hebrew school, on mountains, God met them. So I found a mountain, went up to the mountain, kneeled down on a rock, and prayed to receive the Lord and dedicate my life to God. And that's when it all hit. That's when the purposes started going for what I was born for, you were born. And there was something I never realized until years later, that from the time the temple was built, the Levites and priests who were called to minister, there was a set time for the priests, the sons of Aaron, to begin their purposes of God, to come to God and to minister. When was it? It was when they turned 20 years old, on their 20th birthday. I had no idea. I came up with 20 because they bought me time. It was part of my negotiation tactic. And it was a round number. I had no idea the very year and the very day was the day that the sons of Aaron had to come to the Lord and start serving him. I had no idea. And the thing is, why I share this, is for your encouragement. You came to the Lord. You all came in different ways, different places. God knows it. You all came in different ways. But when you came to the Lord, it was no less holy than the priesthood coming to the temple, or the high priest coming into the Holy of Holies. It was the calling of the priest. It was that. Your coming to the Lord is as sacred, just as real, just as the priest coming called by God, by Moses and Aaron. You are just as holy, your calling. Just as real. And your separation has to be just as real. Hi, I'm Jonathan Cahn, and I hope you were blessed with the video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. Feel free to share your reactions with your comments and how you were blessed, and share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.